Former Ohio Congressman Bob Ney was sentenced to prison Friday for his role in a Capitol Hill bribery scandal. As it happens, his name came back into the news just a few weeks after it came off a building. Joey Chen has a crash course on the rewards and perils of the name game.
It may have started here. John Harvard's bequest of 400 books and 780 English pounds wasn't quite a king's ransom in 1638, but it did forever link his name to the nation's most prestigious university. In Europe, university names usually honored those of a higher calling. Saints, like St. Andrew in Scotland, or sovereigns, like King Charles in Prague. Naming Harvard Harvard was a very New World notion.
These are people that we look up to. These are people that become role models for the young people in our communities.
A notion that has grown to become a time-honored tradition. Roderick McDavis is the president of Ohio University.
One of the things about naming buildings in higher education is that it's an awful long history of associating names of people who have contributed great things to society through public service or through other means.
Still, thanks to John Harvard's charitable legacy, we inherited the belief that esteem and honor can be purchased, a legacy etched in stone. Take the example of James Smithson, the illegitimate son of English nobility. Smithson was a chemist and geologist, and he was rich, very rich. James Smithson never set foot on American soil, never. But when he died, he left everything he had to the United States to establish an institution of research and learning in his name. Today, people come to Washington, D.C. from all over the world to visit his legacy, the Smithsonian Institution. Naming rights have become a proud, if showy, American tradition, and a very big business.
My name is, my name is, my name is.
But not everyone is sold.
I'm kind of a little bit against the corporate naming.
What a jerky name. They could come up with something better than that. Even the pink taco would be better.
They're talking about the University of Phoenix Stadium, where the Arizona Cardinals play. And just where is the University of Phoenix? Online. The internet-based university paid more than $150 million to put its name on the new stadium. And if the stadium is sold out, you might be able to catch the game on TV in Dish, Texas. Dish, Texas? Well, about a year ago, the Dish network offered free service to any community that agreed to rename itself Dish. The town of Clark, an hour north of Fort Worth, took them up on it. You can even buy a species. This is Calicebus auripalati, also known as the goldenpalace.com monkey, named for an internet company that shelled out $650,000 to own the name of the species. The money will be used to protect its habitat. Still, it's important to shop around, which is to say, sometimes folks who play the name game can strike out. Take the Astros Stadium in Houston. In 1999, the team sold the building's identity for $100 million. Only to later discover that playing in Enron Stadium was, well, let's just say now it's Minute Maid Park. In Pennsylvania, Villanova University's famous basketball program was housed in the DuPont Pavilion until John DuPont, heir to the chemical fortune, killed Olympic wrestler David Schultz in a schizophrenic rage. And more recently, Seton Hall University in New Jersey found itself in the awkward position of having its business school housed in Kozlowski Hall, as in Dennis Kozlowski, former CEO of Tyco, who looted $500 million from his company. The building has since been renamed Jubilee Hall.
It raises a larger question of how do public institutions make these decisions that could come back to haunt them later.
Ethicist Jeffrey Seglin says that, for all kinds of reasons, the name game is risky business.
They should know who they're getting in bed with, and I think if they're going to place their name so prominently on a building, I think they need to know that. If they're going to do that, because what ends up happening, if they put those people's names on their building, that becomes a reflection of the university.
Which brings us to the case of Roger Blackwell, former Ohio State professor and marketing guru. He made a fortune as a business consultant and wrote several successful textbooks. Blackwell donated $7 million to OSU, which named a hotel on campus in his honor. That was before Blackwell was convicted on charges of insider trading. What to do?
It's a bad rep for Ohio State, so, I mean, maybe it should come down.
He is a prominent figure in Columbus, so, I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
You have to think about, are these the values we want to have our students aspire to, and does that send that message? I think those are questions that they have to ask for themselves and decide.
I think there's always a risk involved when you put the name of a living person on a building.
Ohio University President Roderick McDavis knows those risks firsthand. A few weeks back, the OU board took the name off the Robert W. Ney Recreational Center after the former congressman pleaded guilty to corruption charges.
Are you upset that the government gave you 3 more months, sir?
Just this past Friday, Ney was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison.
This experience with us has led me to the point of wanting to sort of reconsider how we go about the business of putting a name on a building.
And as the university decides just what to rename the Ney Center, President McDavis says one option is off the table.
I don't have an ambition to have a building named after me. I'm perfectly happy not having my name on anything but a check. And as long as that continues to happen, I'm okay.